Hi there, I'm Kristine Weber. Welcome to my weekly live stream. I've been teaching yoga for a long time, and one of the things that I noticed from actually the very beginning of my teaching career in 1995 is a lot of people that are attracted to yoga are hypermobile. That means that you have a lot of laxity in the joints. It means the joints are very loose, if you like. Hypermobile doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with you, by the way, but it could mean that there are some problems. I'll talk about that in a moment. Today, what I'm going to show you is what's called the BEIGHTON test or the BEIGHTON score. How do you get the BEIGHTON score? Because if you have your BEIGHTON score, then you know if you have some hypermobility, and then you can get it checked out and find out if there are some things you can do for it. So it's a really good thing to know. So today we're going to talk about the BEIGHTON score and how to do that. Just I want to tell you a couple of things about hypermobility first. I want to talk to you about a couple of things. So, hey, if you're here, if you're watching, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And I'd love to know what you think about this test and also if hypermobility has affected you. So it was way back in 1995, I first started teaching. I noticed some people would come to class and they would do things like, like a lunge, for example, your typical lunge pose, right? And when they did that lunge pose, their hips would almost be on the ground. And I was like, whoa, what's up with that? And I remember thinking, my hips don't do that because I'm not hypermobile personally. Many yoga teachers are. So the numbers that I've seen are between 4% and 20%, depending on who you ask and what studies you look at. So that 4 to 20% of the population is hypermobile. And guess what? They all teach yoga or they're dancers or they're acrobats, because we're attracted to the things that we're good at often, right? So the issue is that there's many people that are hypermobile and it's called benign. There's no problem with it. It doesn't cause them any pain, doesn't cause them any other problems. But there is hypermobility that's not benign. And it means kind of like your fascial matrix has some challenges. And there are things you can do about it. So you don't have to think that hypermobility is always a bad thing. It's not necessarily. It's only bad if it's bad. However, I will say that hypermobility correlates with many health issues. For example, gut problems. Anxiety is another issue that correlates with hypermobility. And joint pain. So those three are kind of the big things that a lot of people with hypermobility deal with. Here's the thing: when you're hypermobile, it has to do with the tendons and the ligaments, right, in the joints. And because the neuromuscular system is trying to like stabilize that hypermobility, sometimes the muscles will get tight. The myofascia will get tight. And so people who are hypermobile often are like, oh, I just have to stretch. I feel like I need to stretch because it feels so good to stretch because my muscles are so tight. However, sometimes that can exacerbate the hypermobility. So there's ways to deal with it. That's more than is the scope of this video, but I think it's a very important thing to understand if you're a yoga practitioner, and particularly if you're a yoga teacher, so that you're not asking people to exploit their hypermobility, which may not be a good thing. I mean, for some people, it's okay. For many people, it's not a good thing. And, if you've seen the yoga teaching, if you've been around yoga teaching for as many years as I have, you see people exploiting their hypermobility all the time, and it may not be the best thing for them. Okay, let's get down to the test so you can know if you're hypermobile. So there's 9 points to this test. The first one is, can you touch your thumb to your wrist easily? I'm not going to force it, but can you touch it easily? I have 0 on the BEIGHTON scale. I cannot touch my thumb there, but some people, no problem. That would be 1 on this hand. Can you touch this one easily? That would be 2. I'm almost a 1 on this side, but I'm not going to give myself a point. Number 3 is, can you bend your little finger back further than 90 degrees easily? I'm not asking you to hurt yourself. Just, it should feel easy. No. Can you bend? So that would be 3. This is 4. Can you bend this little finger back easily more than 90 degrees? I'm almost there. This hand obviously is a little more hypermobile. I'll give myself a half a point each, so I'll give myself 1. Okay, now next is your elbows. So when you straighten your elbow out, is it at 180 degrees? If it's going this way, which I cannot show because I'm not hypermobile, more than 180, that you're going to give yourself, where are we? 1, 2, 3. That would be 5. And then do this one. Can you bend that one more than 180 degrees? So it's not just straight, it's, goes down. That would be 6. Number 7 is your knees. I'm going to back up. So if your knees go back, and mine, I really can't say that mine go back, but if your knees bend back the opposite way, you know who you are. Someone's told you that, right? That would be 7 and 8. So where are you on the scale right now? And then number 9 is, can you stand with your legs straight and put your palms flat on the floor? No, I can't do that, but I will show you what they mean. Stand with the legs straight and put your palms flat. That's where mine go comfortably. Again, we're not forcing ourselves down, right? So that's 9 points. If you have 4 on the scale of 0 to 9, if you have 4 or more, that most likely you have some hypermobility, and it would be really good for you to go check it out with a healthcare professional. If you have 4 or more and you have joint pain, gut issues, or or anxiety, and it could be depression, but those are kind of the 3 big ones, then you definitely want to get it checked out. There are things you can do, and the thing that you need to know is that if you have joint hypermobility and your muscles feel tight, stretching them may not be the best thing for your joint hypermobility. There may be not stretching them hard, right? But there are ways that you can stretch that is going to feel wonderful. You have to be a little bit happier with less, and ultimately it's going to help you, particularly if you're dealing with pain, if you're dealing with anxiety, with joint issues. You're not going to be exacerbating, you're not going to be um, increasing that joint, and you don't really increase it, but you're not going to be exploiting that joint hypermobility with your yoga practice. Hey, I hope this is helpful. If it is helpful for you, would you please leave a comment for me? If it's not helpful for you, leave a comment too. But I would love to hear more from you. I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to hear if you're hypermobile. So please leave a comment. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. All the best.